billionaire George Wachiuri. So that tells you that whenever I think of you, I think of a billionaire. So I want to wish all our men everywhere today, all over the globe as you have joined us, I want to wish you Happy Father's Day. And
wow.
And the Father's Day has fallen on the day that we are hosting an African man that is a billionaire and also a billionaire in the kingdom of God, not just a
Amen.
but representing the kingdom by excellence.
Amen.
So, gentlemen, I wish all of you wonderful, wonderful Father's Day. If it has passed in your state or in your region or in your country, your being a father has not passed. This is just the beginning of being a father. So I pray for you all over the world, the fathers and the fathers in the making, that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob will bless you exceedingly and enlarge your territories, extend your boundaries, and it shall be well with you, and you shall never borrow for things that do not make sense. If you borrow, it's for investment, and everything you borrow for investment shall be fully recovered with profit. God bless all the fathers in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
Amen.
Now, tonight, I want us to give a round of applause to billionaire George Wachiuri tonight. Let's welcome him on stage. Let's welcome him. Now, straight to our show tonight. Mr. George, you will allow me, the way I saved your name on my phone, to be calling you like that because there is power in spoken word. So when I call you, I'm also on the road. There is a road called Billionaires Road. There is a lane that is called Billionaires Lane. There is a lane for millionaires. There is a lane for Tanzanians. There is a lane for 100ers. There is a lane for those in tens. And I know that I'm coming to the other lane. So I want to begin to practice with my mouth how we walk on that lane. So allow me to keep it real and call you exactly who you are. So right now, viewers, please keep us with your questions. You know, every question that you text in, we reach us. Every question, that you ask us, we reach us. Please keep sending questions to the Facebook. If we are able to finish answering you, excellent. If we are not able, Billionaire George will be with us next Sunday to finish. So straight now to the show. Billionaire George, you were supposed to be one of our speakers in our annual summit this year, Winnesta's Generation Summit, that's supposed to be taking place in July. You were supposed to be one of our speakers to speak to entrepreneurs. I normally bring entrepreneurs once in a year. They gather and they gather for half a day to, you know, brainstorm, inspire each other, have a network among each other, and socialize, exchange ideas to see how they can have network to work together. And so this year you were supposed to be part of the speakers in July. We are still waiting to know how the government instruction will go concerning ministries and church reopening. But I am grateful that even if our summit does not take place in July, we still believe God that before the end of this year, it will take place and that you will still have time to attend. So it's such a privilege and honor for us to have you tonight, even way ahead of July, to speak to the world. So tonight you are speaking to the world, and if they have questions, they will ask you. So let me read something for you as we begin. George Wachiuri is the CEO of Optivin Limited and undoubtedly one of the most successful entrepreneurs in Kenya today. But before becoming the known billionaire, he was just a boy from Labura, Kieni constituency in Nyeri, trying to make something of his life, his early life. His father, a primary school teacher, passed away while he was still a young boy. At this time, his mother was a wife. This loss forced his mother to start cultivating and tilling neighbors' lands in order to earn a living for her family. Early in the morning, the young judge, together with his siblings, will till their land, and in the evening, go to other people's land for just 5 shillings. 5 shillings. Tattered clothes and hungry stomachs, due to overworking, characterize their daily livelihood. George says he got his first trouser when he joined high school. My motivation to read harder came after I saw my elder brother with a trouser for the first time. This made me realize I had to work very hard to get such, he says. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask Mr. George Wachiuri, who is he? Billionaire Wachiuri, from the story I've read now, it doesn't sound like you. Somebody who knows you today cannot relate with this story. Please, in a nutshell, in 5 minutes, tell me, who are you?
Wow, thank you, Dr. Esther Obasi-ike. Thank you for all our viewers. When you are reading that, my mind flashed back to the old days when life was very, very difficult. You know, we were sleeping without food, and what you have read is actually the truth. God has taken us from very far down there, and what you have said is true. That was life. It was tough, but God has been faithful, that now we are running a business that God has favored it to be a #1 real estate company in Kenya. But that was the way it was, you know. Life was tough, you know. The name you are using, I am humbled. I call myself a servant, but we take the billions that belongs to the owner. The owner is God. I am a custodian. I'm just a custodian, a steward of God's resources. Thank you, Pastor, and our viewers.
All right, so that means that this story that we have read, I picked it from online. Many people have run, many media houses have run your stories all over. And so I picked it that your family was what we call politely a humble, you had a humble beginning, right? You had a humble beginning to the point where you understood those days what it meant to go without food. You went without food, and your motivation, it was something that today is a common thing to people. To wear trousers is common, but for you, in those days, it was not common. It was a motivation that you could find your senior brother wearing trousers, then you decided to wear trousers. So if you came from such a very humble background where your dad passed on and your mom was a housewife and you people started tilling people's ground, can you tell me, how does backgrounds affect us in life? Because today there are many people that will tell you, if only I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, I would have been better. But I was born in abject poverty and I had a lot of mishaps in life. I lost my dad, my mom, or I am growing up as a single child, no father. I'm staying with my mom. And that every excuse we give why things are not working out is because of our background. Can you touch on background and how it can affect us positively or negatively in succeeding in life?
Wow, thank you, Pastor. Yes, backgrounds can really determine the direction that we face, because when you are facing these challenges when you are young, I remember there are things I was really desiring. You know, where I come from in Kieni, we are about 600 meters to the main road from Nyeri to Nyahururu. And when I was a young boy with torn shorts at the back, I could see the cars passing and I say, wow, God of heaven, one day, can I drive a car when I grow up? But those are our wishes. So even the time you are hungry, you can still see people that you admire and you say, maybe one time I will make it. Then you ask yourself, in that particular poor background, what can I do to achieve this? And I had the people in the neighborhood who are driving, and I was really admiring them as they were driving. But somebody, my brother, told me, who had that trouser, if you work hard, you can be able to go to high school, you can go to the university, and when you have this particular education, you can get a job. That's why I discovered that, wow, that it means if you work harder, you can be able to be somebody. And those days I was number last from the in the classroom. By the time I realized that if you go to school, you can be better, I started working hard. Those hard backgrounds, they hardens you, they give you a vision, they also give you a purpose, looking at the future. So, and I encourage people who are listening to me, you may not be having all what you require now, but the future is brighter. I never knew things would turn out the way they turned out, but that inspiration from my brother, who is now a doctor in Nanyuki, really inspired me.
Medical doctor, that's your brother?
Yes, in Nanyuki. That he went to school and became a doctor. So he's called Simon. He really inspired me, and I really thank him. So those who are in such backgrounds, don't give up. It's a time to say, hey, if you are determined, you work and you pray to God, things can change. If they change for George Wachiuri today, the boy who was going to steal people's land, it can change for you. And I remember when I went to school, we had no fees. You go to school half, and then you are chased away, half you are at home. So we serve a mighty God.
Wow. Now, as I'm listening to you, I'm already getting inspired. And the reason for this, my show, Keep It Real, is to connect with the realities on ground out there. Because especially with this pandemic, many people have lost their jobs. Things are extremely, extremely hard. When you hear people's stories, you know that things are extremely hard. But listening to you, you said the hard backgrounds, those of us that are coming from hard backgrounds, those hardship harden us. That is number one.
Yes.
They harden us. In other words, they make you stronger than somebody that did not come through or does not come through a hard situation, a hard background. Number two, the word helps to find purpose. So rather than becoming bitter with life, rather than becoming a robber, gangster, or going into drugs because of your background, you can find purpose through your hardship. Then you also say an inspiration. You look around and see people that inspire you. Your brother inspired you. So now 3 things are coming out from your hardship. It hardened you to work hard. It gave you a purpose to live so that you don't fail. You looked up to people that inspired you. I am going to another question now. On 20th of February 2015, something was written about you on Business Daily newspaper by Moses Odiambo. He said, George Wachiuri is the CEO of Optivin Limited Investments. He set up 15 ventures which failed before finding success in Optivin. 15. He wrote, the company won the top 100 mid-sized companies in 2014-2015 edition. Optivin was also the best real estate company in the mid-sized category. The firm started as a general supplies entity before diversifying into the real estate in 2008. It employs over 50 people, I'm sure then. He lost some 5 million in a deal gone sour and sold his property to refund the money. First, Billionaire George, is this write-up correct? I want to be sure it's right.
Wow, Daktari and our viewers, that is the correct situation. And wow, those questions are really humbling me because I'm flashing back the realities. That is a fact. Yes, I lost the money, and for 1 year, I was down. I was depressed, Daktari and our viewers. I remember I closed the office, and my office was a Uhuru Park with my Bible, a notebook, and a pen. And it was very tough. I lost friends. I had only two friends, my wife and my pastor, Reverend Katutu. It was very, very difficult situation. Pastor, one day at around 3 p.m., I discovered that I had different shoes. I think I was under depression. And I realized that maybe, George, now things are not okay.
Different shoes.
Two different shoes, and nobody told me. The whole day I was crisscrossing the city of Nairobi. Nobody told me, George, your shoes were different. I discovered that this depression is sinking. It was very, very difficult time. I still remember that life was tough.
Let me ask you, Billionaire George, from that write-up, they said you failed 15 times. Are you able to recollect those 15 times? Because I'm sure there is somebody listening to you who have failed 2 times and they are giving up, 5 times and they are giving up, 10 times and they are giving up, and they're saying, what? You failed 15 times. Can you tell us, what did you do the first time you failed? Which, just in a nutshell, I tried this, I failed, I tried this, I failed, I tried this, I failed, 15 times. Can you recollect it?
Wow, thank you, our viewers. Thank you, Dr. Pastor Esther Obasi-ike. I remember the first business was the business of transport, whereby I was buying groceries to sell to different cities, and the business collapsed. The other one was water packaging. The business collapsed. The other one was car hire. Business went down. The other was tours and travel. I was picking Muzungus from the airport to Masai Mara, and I remember I had borrowed some money, and there was a lapse in the tourism industry. So industry collapsed. So all my cars were picked by financial and were auctioned. And I think this was the most embarrassing, because I was being called by a driver, told, hey, George, now the auctioneers have arrested the car. Where are the tourists? They have been kicked out. It was also very embarrassing. I started a barber shop also collapsed. I started that. And the whole list is this particular book, business after business. And of course, there are lessons I learned that failure also hardens us. And when you fail, don't give up, because one time God will bless you a certain business and you are able to go to the next level. So those are the challenges of entrepreneurs, taking risk, and of course, there are lessons that I learned from all those businesses. That's why
we have not stopped. Am I counting? We have not reached 15. I want us to reach 15. You did transport business, you failed. You did tourism, you failed. You did barbing shop business, you failed. You did, that is number 3. You gave us 5. You did keep reminding us.
Barber shop.
I've counted barber shop. I started with transport. You did transport, you failed.
I did the beauty shops.
Sorry?
Beauty shops. I was selling women's necklaces.
You were selling necklaces.
Yeah, I had a shop in Ghana.
You had a shop in Ghana. So you did necklace, you failed. You did barber shop, you failed. You started picking people from the airport, you failed. They even took your car and auction. You did. Can you just remember? Because there is somebody somewhere who say, what are you talking about? And you kept doing. You kept doing. Can you just, if you can remember, even if it's 10, give us 5 more. Just 5 more should be enough.
I also did a lot of clothes import. I was importing clothes and selling them to Wekoba. It also went down, with a lot of.
You sold clothes, sold jewelry.
Yes, exactly. And also importing clothes, second hands. They call it Mituba in Kenya. So I did a lot of those particular sales. And also I did a lot of restaurants. I had opened some restaurants. They also collapsed. I was also manufacturing perfumes and cleaning detergents. It also went down. Then I had a kayak called Asai Motors. It was along Mombasa Road. During the post-election, it also went down. I went to agency whereby I was selling properties on behalf of people, and the people went with my money. And when I'm going to ask for my commission, they say, no, are you the owner of the shamba? So it also agency collapsed. And I also tried insurance. I sold a lot of insurance policies. At some point, it also went down, and it can count on and on, Daktari. Maybe the rest, people can buy the book and can have a look.
I'm telling you. Let me tell you, if you're listening to me now and you have not shared what we are doing right now, you are not a good fellow. I can tell you that. Please click share. I want to believe that Billionaire, your followers are watching us and they are sharing. You are sharing. You are active. Yes. If you're watching us right now, wherever you are, share this. Kindly go to share. If you are on Facebook, touch share. If you are on YouTube, subscribe and share also at the same time. Like my page, Pastor Obasi-ike, and share. Let me tell you, it is like today we are giving injections to people to come alive.
Yes.
We are giving injections to people to come alive. And so you cannot see what is going on right now, and you are just there enjoying yourself watching. You need to share. There is somebody right now who is about to throw in the towel. There is somebody that is about to go crazy. There is somebody that is saying, God, where are you? You have forsaken me. There is somebody that is cursing the day he was born. There is somebody that is saying, I cursed the family that brought me into this world. Today, tonight, the show of tonight is the only medication, the only therapy, the only massage that can revive that individual, but only if you can share. Just share. Make sure that by the time we are done with this show has gone all over the world with thousands and thousands watching it. We are hearing a billionaire talking about all the things he has done. You know, Billionaire George, there is this sermon, there is this breakthrough sermon all over, prosperity sermon. You can be a billionaire, sleep now and wake up, and a miracle will happen, and you will become a billionaire. I had TD Jakes one time say, there is nothing like a sudden success. Nothing is like a sudden success. And there is nothing like sudden greatness. Those two things. You can never be great suddenly. You can never succeed suddenly. It is a journey. It is a long journey. Now, the journey you are telling us is that you have sold all kinds of things before you ended up in real estate. Now, you mentioned that you lost 5 million in a deal that went sour. Can you share that deal that went sour? Maybe there are people today that went into businesses and they've lost everything, and they feel that the world has come to an end. If when you are even telling them pray, they say there's nothing like prayer here. You went into a business that went sour and you lost 5 million. Can you tell us what was that business?
Wow, this business, our viewers and Dr. was actually real estate. You know, this is the time that I say that now I want to do quit brokerage as a broker and do real estate. And I had saved 5 million for about 10 years. And I went into a deal whereby the deal was a purchase of land. And this particular land had got 2 sets of titles. So I happened to acquire the one with the wrong title. And it was a long journey because I had not discovered that this title was wrong. I trusted the people, but they knew what they were doing. So to cut a long story short, I had discovered after about 3-4 months that the title was fake. The people disappeared, they switched off the phone, they closed the office, they had a small office here in town. And that was very difficult because even today, I've never seen those people. Kenya is very big. I've never seen them. And I lost the money and I went down for 1 year, 1 year of being very, very cashless. I had no money, no job, and had sworn never to look for a job to do business again. But by God's grace, we were able to come back after 1 year of a lot of stress and depression. And of course, 10 years savings and doing business here and there was not easy. That was the year 2008. I think that was the most difficult period for me as an entrepreneur. And I say today that if George is back to business, those who have lost maybe once or twice, you can still come back, you can bounce back. And that's why they say in business, you take a risk. Every risk have got a return. Sometimes you lose, sometimes you get. And I'm happy to say that by God, the grace of God, We went back, and that's why every day we pray for every transaction, God to be there so that you don't lose. And of course, this is very frequent, especially in Kenya, whereby people are becoming smarter in terms of conning others.
All right, let me ask you, there are questions that are coming on board. Please, viewers, keep sending it. Like I promised you, if we don't finish today, we finish next Sunday. Because this is a topic that is not emotionalism. It is a topic I want you to go home and practice what he's saying. So we need to dig into this issue. You said after 1 year, you bounced back, you started again. How did you start again? Because if you lost everything, and for 1 year you were out of business, people conned you, you never saw them, up to today you have not seen them. You are not the only one. When we first came here, some people conned us. I don't know how we've never seen them on the street of Nairobi. I've never seen any of them. I don't know whether they are alive or dead, but I've never seen them. But you are very correct that we think that Kenya is small. It's big. Nairobi is big. I've never seen them. So after you lost all, and the people that conned you disappeared, you stayed without anything for 1 year. Please tell us, keep it real. How did you start again? Did you borrow from bank? Did you borrow from friends? How did you start again?
Well, thank you, Pastor, and our viewers. Let me say that towards the end of 1 year, I had a thought, because initially I was literally looking for a job. I had gone to school, I had done my CPA up to CPA-K, I had done my BCom, I had my master's, and I refreshed my CV now to go for formal employment. And let me tell you, Dr. I applied jobs, no even a regret to say, George, we saw your application. Nobody responded to my applications. It's as if the heavens had shut, But one time I was praying and I told God, I think I want to give it the last chance. So I thought, what can I do to go back to real estate? And I remember that someone told me about the social capital, the networking capital. So I went to Kitengela and I met a certain doctor who told me that he had 5 acres. And I asked him, can you give me these 5 acres? I sell it, then I pay you in 3 months. And the doctor told me, give me 1 million. Inside me, I had no million at all, not even near there. But I asked him, can you allow me to enter into your land? That means give me permission to enter into your land, do the subdivision, sell, and within 3 months, I'll pay you. He says, no, give me 500,000. So I remember I had like a small car. Immediately, I put it in the newspaper on one line, the one I used to pay 70 shillings, and I sold it. So I was able to raise 500,000. I paid the Daktari. Immediately, he allowed me to go to the land. I had no money even to do brochures. I was printing and cutting the brochures with the sisters. And then I go to my friend and say, I have land in Kitengela, I'm selling at 350,000. The first miracle happened there because my own friends, some supported me by buying those particular property. And by the grace of God, within 3 months, I had raised money enough to pay the owner of the land deposit. And I remember it was 40 plots. And those 40 plots, within 4 months, the entire property had sold out. And for the first time, I started now seeing the signs of better business. But before that, I remember the time I was discussing this particular property. I went to negotiate, and the doctor looked at me. My lips were dry. I was hungry and asked me, are you the broker? Are you the agent? Are you the buyer? And he was not happy with me because I never looked as if I can be able to afford this particular property. But to cut the long story short, that's how the first transaction that I saw the hand of God come, that we are able to raise money to pay the landowner, and then we moved on to the second property, and the miracles has been happening one after another, Daktari. And that's why for me, I say the resources that we have, they are not George Wachiuri's resources, they are God resources. And that's why we say at Optivate, our vision is to economically and socially empower and transform the communities. And 5% of the money we generate, we give it back to the community because we know these resources belongs to God.
In fact, we have so much to talk with you. You say that your income, whatever Optivin generates, it gives 5% back to the community. I will ask you about that if we have time today. Otherwise, next Sunday, you tell us how Optivin functions and how they give it back to the community, because we need to know. Because it shows that you understand very well where you are coming from, who is the source of your wealth, who has helped you in life. So we will handle that 5%. Let me recap what you have said quickly. You went into a land in Kitengela, right? And you went into a land that were 4 acres. 4 acres or 40?
5 acres.
5 acres. And you told the man, allow me to sell this land and I will pay you. And the man said, no, you have to put deposit. Then you went and sold your car and you had advertised the car with 70 shillings on the newspaper or so. And the money you made from there, you put a down payment and the man allowed you. And within 3 months, you were able to sell the whole 5 acres. Or did you sell the 5 or 4?
Everything, 5 acres.
You sold. So whatever you sold, you took now the commission, because I'm sure you gave the owner of the land his own money. Then you took the commission, and that money you now took helped you to begin something, isn't it? I want to believe that our viewers are watching, because you see, we are living in a society today where people easily give up and depend on welfare. Somebody will say, I have tried and I've tried. As far as they are concerned, give me 1,000. I can live on it. Tomorrow, give me 500. Tomorrow, help me. They are not thinking that. You look at the kind of boldness it took you to enter into a land, and I'm sure you prayed. God went ahead of you. God favored you, and you were able to sell those land and to start again. I have a question for you, but let me take one or two questions here before I come to myself. Somebody is asking, my question is, what advice would you give to someone who has started various businesses and has failed to break even? Several businesses, but cannot break even in any of them. What advice do you have for that fellow?
Wow, thank you. Somebody who has started several businesses. The thing is, keep that spirit of working smarter, working harder. And they say that the secret of any business, of course, number 1 is trusting in God. Number 2 is aggressive marketing. Ensure that people know what you are doing, because money comes from the people. And then be a person of your word. Keep your word. If you say, I'm going to deliver this particular service tomorrow, please deliver by tomorrow, because the word of mouth runs very quickly. And then enhance your network. So the business you are doing, know people. Every person you meet today can be able to network you to another 10 people. And of course, very, very important, craft a vision. What do you want to achieve in that particular business? Please never start a business to make money. Start a business to empower the communities. And then ask yourself, what problem are you solving? Because Kenya today have issues, we have problems. If you can be able to solve people's problems, the money will be a byproduct. And then finally, read this book in the Bible, Deuteronomy 8:18. It is he who gives us ability and power to create wealth. Remember, every thinking power, emotional power, the networking power, all these powers come from our God in heaven. Once you do that, you can be able to go to the next level. A quick one, what we do at Optiven, every morning we pray for our customers. We pray for our business. Every Wednesday, we have prayer and fasting. All the team, we are about 400 employees. We pray. And then every Thursday is training. And since you are a business person, you are a leader of that particular business. Lead by influence, not by force. Don't use force to lead your business. Influence people to buy your vision.
My God, you have said so many things in few minutes. You have talked about keep on doing it, keep on doing it. Allow God to be part of it. Don't give up. And you have given example. Every Wednesday is fasting and prayer in Optiven. In Mondays is to pray for customers. Thursday is for training. And part of what I wanted to ask you later are the secrets of the success. We will get there. So this individual that has asked of break even, don't give up. But can I ask a question based on what this fellow has asked? Could it be possible that this individual is just doing businesses by gambling, meaning I want to sell granite today. Today, granite is not working. I want to sell hairpiece tomorrow. Tomorrow is not working. I want to sell Lucozade next tomorrow. So this fellow is just selling things. When this one fails, no profit, he goes to another one. Is there a way for somebody to know this is the business God has called me to do, so that I don't roam around. I'm going to Lavington, then I first go to Runda, from Runda to Mutaiga, from Mutaiga to Karen before I arrive at Lavington. Is there a way to reduce risk of not breaking even in business?
Well, a quick one. The secret for business success is what I call the focus. You need to focus on what you do with all your might, with all your energy, with all your resources. Number two is passion. What can you do for free? Listen to yourself. Is there something I can do for free? Convert it now into money, because sometimes entrepreneurs get tired in the middle. You do something, is not coming up. If you can do it for free, you reduce the art of getting tired. And within no time, maybe a year or two, you break even. But it is so normal for business not to break even in the initial stages. Optiven took about 10 years before we broke even. So it is never too late. Don't be 10 years. Don't be a big hurry to make quick money. No. End up pole, go slowly, and very soon, once you break even, you can now skyrocket to the next level. So, and of course, Pastor, there's this person also check at the cost. So don't use business money for your personal fueling of lifestyle. Don't pick cash and buy a car. You know, manage cost very, very well and reduce those particular costs and maximize on revenue.
Thank you so much. You brought an aspect that soon I'll be coming on board to do online training for people on how to maximize their potential. And when that time comes, all my viewers, I will market it. I want to take you through how to maximize your potential by first discovering your talent. How do I discover my talent? How do I discover my gifting? How do I turn my hobby into profit? So we will do those things as full courses. But for now, I'm sure he has answered your question. You need to check what you are doing. Be sure you are doing the right thing you are supposed to do. And if you are doing, be patient. You know, when you said your toughest time and toughest year was 2008. I did a quick mathematics. 2008 from now till now is only 12 years. Or am I the one that doesn't know mathematics? I think it is 12 years. So if it is 12 years, is it 12 years or 12? 2008. From 2008 to 2020 is it is 12 years. Is it not 12 years, Bilonia?
Yes, obvious, yes.
So if in 2008, things were so hard for you, that was just yesterday. 2008 was yesterday. Then in 2015, East African Business Times ran your story, February 2015. That means between 2015 and 2008, things happened. Things just began to happen until you are where you are today. We will keep that question. We'll come back to that. Somebody is asking, how did you discover what you were doing was God's will for you? We will answer, we will come to that. There's another question. Did you have a business plan for each business? You see, you did 15 businesses before you succeeded. Did you have a business plan for each and still failed in the 15 before you came? Because if we are to tell your story now, we will say you succeeded on the 16th time. Is that correct?
Yes, correct, yes.
Right. So those 15 businesses, did you have business plan? And if you failed in 15 businesses, was it that you were not in your right lane, that you were not doing God's will until you came to the 16th? You can combine the two questions.
Wow, I think the initial businesses, I was very young, right from campus. And by the way, our viewers, I also had a business in the university. In the university, I was washing people's clothes. I was also doing the ironing for a fee and also ensuring that my small cubicle was also a business venture. I was selling newspapers. So most of those businesses, I did not follow the business plan. I had the business plan because as the caliber of an entrepreneur, you see an opportunity there, you follow it up. And those are the lessons I learned, that don't do business because George Wachiuri is doing it. You know, don't do business because the competition is doing it. So follow what you love doing and do what you love. Follow what you love doing and do what you love. And those are the mistakes that I did. So I would say that I did not follow the business plan. Yes, I was doing the plan, but I was not faithful in following those business plans. I was also younger, and I was thinking that if you go for kahaya, that's where you can make quick money. You know, now I am more mature. I realize that don't do business for money. Do business to help the communities, to make the world a better place. So I would say maybe those were the mistakes. And something else I did not do is getting a mentor. You know, I was starting a business, nobody to go to ask for advice. I had no mentor. Number two, my research was not good. I was not doing proper research for a business. And I urge all people who want to do business, do your research, ensure that what you are doing is correct. And of course, I did not establish good relationship with the owners of money, the financiers. And this is very important. Establish a relationship with the financier. Then finally, I did not treat my customers so well then. Now I know customer is the employer. Massage the customer, treat the customer well. And the customer means the people you have hired, your employees are your customer number one. Customer number two is people who buy your products and services, internal customers and external customers. And then finally, very, very important, never rush to do things. Always be sure, research very well, and do what we call the SWOT analysis. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are the opportunities? Now I am wiser, and that's why I said not everybody should feel like George, because we are living in an era of information. You can get all this information today.
All right. You know, what we are doing here tonight is what people register $10,000 to do.
Yes.
I got a LinkedIn invitation few days ago for a course in the United States of America, in California. I don't know how they got to know me. They say you are one of the global people we want to deal with and all those stuff like that. And they say, would you like to be part of our entrepreneurship something? So I said, okay, send me the course outline and the cost. When the cost came, it was about over $10,000 for us to do entrepreneurship work. What we are doing here tonight, and we are giving it free. Nobody has paid a dime for the show of tonight, and therefore I don't want anybody to abuse it because they are not paying. They think we are just here talking and doing show. We are in the classroom training people for what they go out there and pay thousands of dollars to collect from other people. You mentioned that some of the reasons behind your failure are as follows. Research. Every business requires a research, which is very important. You need to do a research to understand the business, to understand the market before you enter, which you didn't do, so you failed. Number two, you needed to do the correct thing. You needed to do what was correct in the business, such as connecting with financial institutions, people that finance this. I believe that Billionaire, you'll be very helpful for us next Sunday to give people secrets where they can go and get money. Because I was there in a global summit in February this year, somewhere, and women were complaining that every opportunity they are given, they are expected to pay back with interest. There are many organizations that are willing to give you loan, but when you look at the interest you need to pay back, they are not able. And so they were asking the question, how do you want us to succeed if we start borrowing with a lot of interest on top of it? So I believe that next Sunday, you can give us different kind of financial institutions that help people in a way that anybody can access loan. And if there are even those that give free interest, no interest, please help us to understand these things next Sunday. Now, you mentioned about relationship, that one of the things you didn't do well was relationship. you did not treat your customers well. Now, part of your customers, the first customers are your staff, the ones working for you. The second ones are the ones outside. Now, I want you to say something because you were one of the people that helped me to build a credible staff unit in our church. If you remember, when I told you I needed you to tell me some of the secrets of Optivin, and we had lunch at Serena Hotel with another man, the three of us. And when we were there, you told me you can't tolerate, you have zero tolerance for a non-performer. Somebody who cannot perform and does not have the right attitude to work. So you don't have space for them. You need people who perform, who work well, so that when you are handling them, you know these are assets as your staff. So we come to that issue of how to manage people, human resource management. Now, the other customers you didn't treat well are the people that are outside, the people that are coming outside to do. Then you mentioned you never had a mentor. Why I'm repeating it is so that business people can write these things down. Because as we are coming out of pandemic, many have lost their jobs. They may need to start something and create jobs for themselves. And they should not wait to fail 15 times the way you fail before they succeed. Yes. They need to learn from your failure to succeed. So you say you didn't have mentorship. Now, what we are doing here is mentorship. We are mentoring people. All right. Somebody is asking, are you offering mentorship for people interested in real estate as a business? Do you have a mentorship? If somebody is interested in real estate business, do you have a real mentorship to help this individual succeed like you are succeeding?
Wow, thank you very much. Yes, I do a lot of mentorship, and we do it one-on-one, we do it virtually, and we organize the forums for different people. Before the COVID, we are meeting people at Optivin headquarters at Barclays Plaza, now called APSA Plaza, on 14th floor once a month. I also do a lot of virtual mentorship through my Facebook, George Wachiuri Facebook. Every Friday, we usually have FB Live, even this coming Friday. And people ask questions, we mentor them, they ask even those difficult questions. I'm also a blogger. You know, I blog a lot. It's www.georgewachiuri.com. That's my blog. They are amazing. Thousands of articles on how to start a business, how to grow a business, and how to be successful. And of course, I'm an author. I've authored several books to assist people who want to do business. One of them is How to Start Small and Build an Empire. So it's an amazing book, The Secret Behind Optivin. And of course, the other one is My Life Story, Soaring Like an Eagle. And of course, I also read another book from Daktari Mwenyewe, Dr. Esther Obasi-ike, Maximize Your Potential. It's an amazing book that I recommend our listeners to buy and read it, because the potential is massive, the potential is there. And if you are dreaming to start a real estate is virgin. We have not even started it in Kenya. 67% of our people are living in the informal sector, and they are looking for affordable homes. So it's an industry that Kenyan people must catch quickly. Otherwise, other people will come running here in this particular country. And of course, you go to the countries, the opportunities are massive. The government gave about 56.3 billion in terms of upgrading infrastructure. And this infrastructure is going towards the metropolis of Nairobi. And that's why we find that Optivin, we are now #1 real estate company offering affordable homes. So if you are dreaming, get in touch with us. We don't tire to mentor people. I also mentor those who are struggling in real estate. That's why we are here.
Thank you so much, Billionaire George. I am so grateful that you have a mentorship class, and you will mentor me privately. I may not join the Friday class because of my activities, but I will get in touch and see whether there are exclusive classes, because that's my passion. I'm not into real estate of selling and buying. There is a style I do, and so I'm part of that one. But I'm so happy to hear you people have had every Friday Go to George Wachiuri's Facebook page, ask all your questions, let him mentor you. You have no reason to fail as a businessman or as a businesswoman with all these gadgets and opportunities you have. I thank God that he read that my book. I told you that I'm coming up with a class, and that online class will be based strictly on that book. I'll be teaching you on how to maximize your potential. We are trying to retype the book and reprint it to make it available to everyone, to ensure that even the least of the least understand the language of business. Even pastors should understand the language of business. Everybody should understand the language of business. So once my class begins, is basically on that, how to maximize your potential. We will digest that book from chapter 1 to the last chapter. You can't use that book. You can even, you can't use that book and you fail in business. You will discover your potential. Thank you, billionaire, for reading my book. I'm excited and I'm happy that at least I have something I can offer to a billionaire. Now,
actually, Daktari, also I have read another book that you have written. It's called Grass to Grace. Why? That's also another fantastic, fantabulous book that I also recommend our viewers and my followers to read. It's an amazing book. Daktari has also got a story. Wow, amazing.
It is true. Thank you. That book is available online right now. On this page, Pastor Obasi-ike, Queen Esther's Generation. If you go to Queen Esther's Generation on this page, you will see that we have uploaded. You can buy ebook of it. If you want us to deliver, we can deliver to you. You can pay PayPal. You can pay through Till. It's on the Facebook. It's on our website, www.queenestersgeneration.com. It is available. It is true. From Grass to Grace tells you the story of how you can move from grass, from tattered trouser to grace, where men and women of high calibers, in Nigeria we call them timbers and calibers, where they see princes and princesses, how you move from point A through the grace of God. So if we finish now, you can order the book. We can send it to you hard copy. We can send it to you on e-book. And it's what you can read in a day. Maximum of 2 days, you are done with the book. And billionaire, thank you for reading my book. I also read one of your books, How You Started. And I was amazed. This first book, the other one, I was amazed how God can just lift people from nowhere. Somebody is asking, when you were losing these businesses, were you married? So that they understand how it affected the family. Were you married or you were a bachelor? So it wasn't a big deal.
I was married, and let me say that I have married one of the best ladies in East and Central Africa, actually the world, because with all these challenges, this lady never told me that I'm useless. She was there to encourage me, to tell me you are going to make it. And some point even giving me fare to go to town, 50 bob, 100 bob. And let me tell you, this lady has made George Wachiuri. And of course, by God's grace, she has been there for me. And she's the mother of 2 boys and 1 beautiful girl. Yes, she has made a friend, a companion, a business partner. And I'm so happy that I call her Paul Allen. Entrepreneurs need somebody second to manage them. So she manages me. So when you see success of people, actually it's not George Wachiuri, it's the lady behind George Wachiuri.
Glory be to God. You know why we call this show Keep It Real, Billionaire George, is because I love stories like this, how you have projected your wife and acknowledge publicly without shame that there was a time your wife could give you 50 shillings to go and take a bus. Not all men we want to publicly say, yes, my wife was giving me money at this time. And that's why this keeping it real is very important, because as you are keeping it real, it's empowering somebody out there to know that marrying a good wife is the greatest thing that happens to a man after salvation. After salvation, if you miss it in marriage, you will be in a little hell here on earth, but heaven will receive you at the end. So marriage is very important and key to everything we do in life. And I'm sure your wife is watching. We are grateful that he stood by your side and never called you names in the days that you were struggling. And I believe that each time you looked at her and you saw hope, it kept you moving. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are in that stage now where your husband is not making it, things are hard. Women, my fellow women, my daughters, my colleagues, you are the greatest encourager, the greatest inspiration. That man wants to look at your face, the way you react, we give him hope or give him hopelessness. So please, let's play our role. So it is good to know that you were married and yet went through all this, and still the family was intact. There was no separation, there was no divorce. And today, I'm sure your wife is enjoying your billions with you, isn't she?
Oh, yeah, she is. Yes. Yes, she's enjoying, and she's good.
Fine. Let me ask you one more question from somebody. We are now we lost 5 minutes or 10 minutes where I was trying to look for my, I was wondering why the page was not giving me my Pastor Obasi-ike's page. It was the problem of the computer, but I thank God. Somebody is saying, I entered into business with a friend, and the 15 million project scrambled down. I don't have the time to tell what happened. That's what the fellow said. I remained in big debt and listed with CRB. How can I rise again? 15 million project went down and I've been enlisted in CRB. What do I do? How do I rise up from where? What can this individual do?
Wow, thank you, Dr. Adi, and thank you for this particular individual. One of the things I would encourage this particular person is to keep the vision, because the vision does not die. Wherever there is a vision, there is a provision. Number two is to keep encouraging himself that one day he is going to overcome this particular challenge. Number three, talk about it. Let the person keep talking about it, because right now he needs to heal, especially on trusting people. Talk about it. Number three, remember, even after losing the physical money, you still have the potential, the energy, the thinking capacity to create another idea that can bring money. You have what I call the social capital. You have what I call the emotional capital. So if somebody has not stolen your social capital, emotional capital, you can still rise up. So don't stop thinking. Keep thinking on the next big thing and be open. Even the time you go to borrow money to the bank, tell somebody, I went to a partnership with somebody who swindled me. And maybe for those who are looking for partnership, they say that many times in Kenya, partnership fails. Why? Because people don't have common values. They don't have a common focus. So unless you are partnering with somebody with common values, partnership is a real challenge in our economy today.
All right. So this individual should not give up.
No.
Assuming this individual does not have money because she's in a serious debt, she doesn't have money to begin again, nothing to do. She doesn't know is there a way she can be helped or he can be helped?
There are many ways, Dr. and our viewers, on how to start a business. Starting a business does not mean that you must have money. There are many, many services that people can start and you make money. You can be the go-between. You can say, I am going to be the supplier of maybe personal protective equipment, PPEs. You pick, because people trust you, you pick the items, you deliver and capture the margin. And there are lines and several things that we can do without necessarily having the physical money, as long as you are authentic and people can trust you. And maybe to close it up, I remember one time in one of my businesses, I was actually selling tissue paper. I go to industrial area, tell the Asian man, I leave my ID, I can pick the bills and bills of tissue paper, go and sell to the shops. In the evening, I return the remaining ones and I pick my margin. So I ask this particular person, check. What else can you do, especially on services? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Billionaire George. We have recovered the 10 minutes we lost, because this show is supposed to be 1 hour and it's exactly around 10 minutes past 9. And we have recovered the 10 minutes, so it's exactly 1 hour Viewers, unfortunately, we cannot take all your questions, but there are questions I want to throw at him, and I don't expect him to answer now. He will be answering them next week, but to get him ready. Billionaire George worked in a regular office for 10 years, and that includes one of the supermarkets in Nairobi, Uchumi Supermarket. He worked for 10 years, and within the 10 years, George, you saved 5 million. I don't understand how you work for 10 years only and saved 5 million, because there are people that have worked for 20 years, 30 years, they have not saved even 10,000. So I would like you to teach us on the importance of savings and tell us how you were able to save, how much salary were you earning, and if you were earning this amount, what was your expenditure per month that you were able within 10 years to save 5 million? You will answer those questions next week. Now, you talked about that when you were a student, you were washing clothes. You were a student, you were busy washing clothes for others. In other words, you didn't feel bad or ashamed that I am washing clothes for people and I'm a student. That means that your passion for business has always been there. The passion for business has always been there. And I also heard you once say how you were selling ties on the street in Nairobi. So I would like you next Sunday to bring up the issue of what are those small things we can do. For instance, people who read my book, From Grass to Grace, we see when I used to sell underwears. I used to sell panties of women, 100 shillings. I used to sell CDs on the street of in town. I used to sell books. I will bring books from Nigeria. I will go from one bookshop to the other. Sometimes the gain was 5 shillings, sometimes 2 shillings. But I was busy working and I didn't have a car. It was from one matatu to another matatu, and I was still preaching, pastoring. I was doing all those things. So we need, especially through this pandemic, many people have lost their jobs. We need to know how to navigate them and how they can begin. So by the special grace of God, next Sunday, now that we have had your background, today is like building up just the foundation. Who is Mr. Wachiuri, and how did you navigate from there? You started as a failure 15 times. On the 16th time, you succeeded. And how did you succeed? You have told us how you succeeded by going to be a broker on a land and selling and getting profit and starting again. You have told us you are a married man, and by the support of your wife, you were able to survive through the hard times. You have also taught us the errors you made so that nobody else should make it. And you gave us important areas. And you have also offered to the people that you are willing to mentor them on Fridays on your page. And you have books that they can also, materials they can access. Now, next Sunday, you need to tell us how we can access finances. How do we access finances? Are there organizations that help people, give them money? You have mentioned that the government of Kenya have 50-something billion. Do we have opportunities in Kenya to access money? Now, the president speaking a few days ago, either last week, talked about economic and youth empowerment to make sure that the future is secured. How do we benefit? So next Sunday, tell us the opportunities in Kenya, the business opportunities in Kenya. How do we enter into these business opportunities? How do we access funds at minimum interest or no interest? Then how do we begin? You talked about business plan. How do we do business plan? I pray that we will have time, that nothing will tamper with our time next Sunday, because like today we are good on internet, excellent, perfect, fantabulous on internet. It was just the computer that did not go to my page early. So now, next Sunday, we want to know, how do I access money? Now, I don't want real estate. I'm not interested in real estate business. What else can I do? Are there other opportunities out there that I can access and I can do. Then somebody may be saying, I don't even want business. I don't want business. I just want to do my secular job, and I want to get just my salary. How does this help? How does it really help us to live on one stream of income? Because I am one individual that I don't believe in one stream of income. I don't believe it at all. I have seen it limit people. I have seen people who lost their job and lost their lives out of depression because they never planned and never had any other thing. People like pastors, if the only thing we do today is the pastoral work, maybe by now we should be calling our members that hunger is killing us. But we are feeding others. We carry food from our house and take to the office. Why? Because we learned early enough to have streams of income and again savings. I am one individual that believes so much in savings. So those are the things we will look at, so that as people are coming out of pandemic, mentorship we are doing here on Keep It Real, we help them and help them to assess. You talked about network, that somebody that wants to succeed in business must build a credible network. How do I build a credible network? Very important, because you said it's not every partnership I should enter. It's not every partnership. So how do I build a credible network? How do I know who to join? How do I know who to team up with? Now you say to start again does not really mean I have money to start. I can go like the way you went, supplying toilet roll, tissues to survive. How can I do those kind of middle belt something to survive until I stand on my own 2 feet? So these are the areas we look at. Viewers, you cannot afford to miss next Sunday, because information is key in this new dispensation after coronavirus. If you don't get information, you will stay at the gate of Samaria and die. But if you can be intelligent like the lepers who said, why sit here and die? I don't want to sit here and die. Let me go out and do something and take a risk. That risk is what we want to take. But we want to tell you how to do it so that you minimize the risk and eventually have good profit. Once again, our viewers, make sure you share this. Billionaire, help me to share this on your page and all your fans and everyone. We also need to understand how you handle human resources to make sure that when I'm recruiting people, I have the right team with me. I have the right people on the board. Because if you read the book, From Great to Good to Great, it talks about the right people in the boss. That if you have the wrong people in the boss, the tendency is that all of you will head nowhere. So we need to look at so many things on Sunday by God's grace, and we will start on the dot, 8 o'clock. To our viewers, please click share, like my page right now so that you get updates. Go and order for the book that Wachiuri, Billionaire George has spoken about, Grass to Grace, How to Maximize Your Potential will be soon out, because we have finished selling them. It's out of stock, but I will begin training very soon. Find on Friday your way into his page, listen to what they are saying, ask for the books, the way they sell it, and make sure you get all the information. Once again, thank you for being part of our Keep It Real show tonight. Next Sunday, 8 p.m., Billionaire George will be here to now tell us about opportunities and how we shall assess opportunities. Don't forget, tomorrow, I'll be having my hour of prayer, turning point prayer with you on this same page, Pastor Obasi-ike's page, at exactly 8 p.m. East African time. When we gather at the evening sacrifice tomorrow, I'll share 5 mind-blowing testimonies. Last week, Monday, I told you we prayed about good news. And I told you, wait for good news. That God said to me, good news is coming your way. Between that Monday and now, people are receiving their good news. And some of them will want me to share this good news with you. So tomorrow, I will begin with sharing the good news of testimonies that happen in 24 hours, 48 hours, in few hours after the prayer. And what we are praying tomorrow will be based on Mark chapter 11, verse 24. Mark 11:24 says, when you pray, believe that you have it and it shall be yours. Can you imagine? When you pray, believe that you have it and it shall be yours. So tomorrow, God is saying, whatever you pray for tomorrow, believe that you have received it. Amen. And it will be delivered to your address. So I will give you opportunity tomorrow 8, when we begin to write, what is that thing you want to believe God for? We will lift it up before God. After we pray, we will give him thanksgiving of worship, our praise, because one way to tell him that I believe I've received this is to worship him. So we will thank him, we will clap, we will dance for 5 minutes or so to tell him we have received it. And the Bible says, wait, you've got it. That is what that scripture says. Wow. So don't miss the hour of prayer on Pastor Obasi-ike's page tomorrow night. Pilonia Church, thank you so much for being my guest tonight. And I look forward to working together with you. And I will like you to mentor me, like I've said, in real estate business. And like you know, you said when you failed, it was only 2 people standing with you, your pastor and your wife. That is how life is. At the end of the day, you discover that it is only we, the pastors, that end up fighting with people. And we are the ones, everybody can disappear. And you look around and discover it's only my pastor praying and encouraging me. I thank God for men and women of God all over the world. And I pray that we will appreciate them and keep appreciating them for the great work they are doing for us. Thank you so much. Have a pleasant night and prepare for us again powerfully next Saturday, next Sunday. We will excel in this post-pandemic. And I believe that wealth will change hands. Power will change hands. And finally, covenant wealth.
And that's on our computer.
The net has gone.